I'm going to get Instagram going while I'm getting set up here. Yep, I see it's going. Welcome to another live stream. Sorry I'm running a little late today. Apologize for that. Let's see. I want to check one thing while I'm thinking about it. See if it still works. See if this is happening. I think it is. Let's see. Let's see if we're broadcasting live to myself. Yep, we are good to go. If you didn't know, you feel like watching this on the internet. What's up, M. Schlotterbeck? Hope you're well. What's up, Matt Eckert? You can actually watch all these live streams. They go live on my website, nickfinzermusic.com/live. And I set it up a long time ago, and I'm just glad it still works. We're doing our weekly Q&A. And sorry again for being a little bit late today. I had a couple things to attend to. And just wanted to make sure they got done before jumping on today to talk, hang, play music, etc. What's up, Michael? What's up, Alton? It is 2/2/2/2. I didn't realize that till my last lesson. We were talking, and then we realized that that's the date today. So I was thinking right before I hit go live, I wondered if there was something I could do related to 2/2/2/2/2, but I didn't come up with anything, so we just started. Yeah, good to see you too, Michael. Thanks for being here. Glad you could join us. So we're here to answer your questions about all things jazz, trombone, music business, etc. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And, it's been busy. It's been a busy time of year for me, so it's been hard to get on here quite as much, but Taylor's here, so I know there'll be lots of questions coming. What's up, Taylor? What's up, Connor? Let's see. So working on a bunch of projects coming up. Just scheduled a couple of recording projects, some gigs over the summer. So things are happening. Things are moving along. And my watch keeps falling off, so it's an exciting day over here. But yeah, feel free. Instagram, I still keep forgetting I have to do something on Instagram to let the questions come back. I don't know why. So you'll just have to put them in the comments, or maybe you can still put them in the questions. I just can't put them on the screen because I did something. And I'll try to get that fixed. But yeah, so coming up, like what's going on? I'm focusing on trying to get people to know about something that's coming up. This book that I've been working on for a very long time. This is not the real copy. This is a proof copy, but it's April 5th coming out. On April 5th, this book, Create, Connect, Repeat. It's kind of all the things that we do with outside of music, all the things I do consulting-wise for marketing plans and stuff for different artists, and all these kind of things kind of distilled into one book, and I kind of wrote it mostly during 2020, 2021, and then finally getting it out this April. So I'm excited about that. April 5th, we'll be doing some events, some of the Q&As around that time. April 5th is also a Tuesday, so definitely on Tuesday, April 5th, talking all things Create, Connect, Repeat on the live stream, on the date. Oh, and you're in lecture series, man. Well, you should probably attend to the class that you're in rather than my little thing here. I should ask this Nick guy a bunch of questions. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, Ander, Ken, Dwayne, thanks for joining us. We're hanging and talking about jazz and trombone and whatever else people want to talk about today. But usually I try to have something that I want to start talking about. But like I said, I was in the middle of doing a bunch of things and I realized I was 15 minutes late to even starting the stream. So I didn't have anything prepared. I should have prepared, but I did not. But I was just, so I'll just go on this little tangent. I was just finding out, oh, thanks, Mom. She said, it's a very insightful book and has been useful for me. Works for musicians in all genres. Yeah, it was intended for musicians of all genres. Hey, what's up, Spain? Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for dropping through. It's definitely applicable to any genre. The Create, Connect, Repeat book. It's pretty. It's from the vantage point. Some of the examples are definitely jazz centric because I'm a jazz musician. But the overall it could be for anything really. It doesn't even only have to apply to musical projects. It could be any project. But at the end of the day, I've just been thinking about this a lot. Really, is that the only thing that actually matters, like the only reason that not only do our favorite artists, they make great music, great art, but like the only thing that really matters is that people respect them, know them, and want to pay money to go and see them. And so once you have an audience that is passionate about what you do, whether that be online, offline, both, and it obviously scales up and down depending on what genre you might be in, but like once you have that audience that's willing to support you like that, like you can do whatever you want. Like the sky is the limit once you find your people and you continue to make great work. So that's what that book's about. So we'll kind of circle back on that in a couple of weeks, and I'll keep talking about it between now and then for sure, because it was a big project for me. A big project. But so the other thing I was going to talk about, I see some the blue check. Yeah, I've tried to apply for the blue check. They won't give me the blue check. Verified check is what Alton is talking about. I see a couple questions coming in on Instagram. I'll get to them in 1 second. But I don't know if people know about this, and I learned about this this afternoon. There's a record by Curtis Fuller that I had not known about. Curtis Fuller and Hampton Hawes with French horns is the name of the record. I didn't know about this record. Maybe Alton already knew about this record. Curtis Fuller and Hampton Hawes with French horns. I didn't know about it, and I tried to look it up, and the LPs are like $75 it was only a European release, so I'm trying to learn about this. So, as anybody who watches this and you have a copy, let me know. There's only one track on YouTube that you can find from that record, that Curtis Fuller record. So I'm on the hunt. If anybody has any information, send it my way. Curtis Fuller and Hampton Hawes with French horns. Kind of interesting. It's alto. The one track I listened to was alto, trombone, and 2 French horns. Kind of cool. What's up, Lucas? What's up, Flambino? Yeah, I don't know why they didn't give it to me. They only give it to you if they think somebody's going to impersonate you. And I don't know. I don't think there's enough. There's no fake Nick Finzer accounts. So if somebody makes one, then maybe I can show it to them, and then they'll give it to me. Something like that. All right, let me give you these. Go back and get these questions. Okay, he says, what are 5 trombone solos every trombonist should learn? I think that's definitely a subjective question. I'm going to tell you, I think there's 2 ways to approach this, and I think both are important. One would be to pick 5 trombonists and do 5 solos of each, because you want to go deep on somebody to actually begin to learn their style, to learn how the way that they work, their language works, the way that they interact with the rhythm section, different things that I would call their like isms, like little things that make it like them, like Curtis da 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 or diddle do. He goes doodle diddle diddle. There's other things that make it kind of like courtesy, Curtis Fullery. So everybody has those things, and to get into those details, I think it takes several solos. So I would say pick 5 trombonists and do 5 solos of each, rather than just say what are 5 solos. But if you want to go top line, like just starting to investigate some jazz, I would say there could be 5 solos, and I would pick one, from 5 different people, probably. I would say, there's a lot of them that kind of all fit within the same, like you could replace them is what I mean. Like there's many solos that kind of serve a similar function, but if I'm starting with a beginner, we start with Miles Davis on So What. We're trying to get the feel, the flow, the simplicity, hearing how to transcribe, how to do that. It's not a long solo. It's very melodic, medium tempo. So Miles Davis on So What. I think there's a lot of possible JJ solos, but, I like blue trombone, maybe not the whole thing, but, playing a blues, getting that. I like Curtis Fuller on Blue Train. I like Curtis Fuller on 5 Spot After Dark. He's a nice solo on that if you're looking for like a minor blues. So that's okay. That's like 4, but I would say that's 3. And then I'll do something slide Hampton. I like that solo. There's My Blues. He's got a great solo. Hugh Gore is another beginning Curtis solo. Um, My Blues or You Don't Know What Love Is. It really depends on the level. Like if it's a super young student, you can't go this advanced probably. Um, and then if you want to like learn the history, you got to check out something Lawrence Brown. You got to check out something Vic Dickinson. You got to check out something Benny Green. You got to check out something Jack Teagarden. You got to check out something Kid Ory, maybe the Dickie Wells Blues. There's so many things. So nail it down to 5. It really depends on the goal of the person, what their strengths are, what they can already do, what they need to be able to do to get them to where they're trying to get to. So it's kind of a question that needs a little more detail, you know. All right. Blue check mark, we talked about that. Danielle Tennant, an autistic savant, once said, "Change appears to us as mysterious because it's invisible. It is impossible to see a tree grow tall or a man grow old except with the precarious." Why is change challenging for a student or any music to remain patient towards working hard? Musician. Sorry, I'm trying to piece that together a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that Sliding Curtis record is killing. Sorry, I'll get your question. Yeah, that's called Two Trombones. Sliding Curtis. It's killing. Oatmeal Cookie. I like that one. That track on there. Slides Ride. And we played at Trombone Day. We played the minor one. What the heck is it called? I forgot already. Okay. So let me get to Taylor's question. It's kind of a complicated question about not being able to see your progress. That's why it's important to make recordings. If you listen to recordings of yourself every 3 months or every 6 months, and I don't mean just like random recordings, you know, of a gig, but something where you really put your best effort forward. You can do this with practice too, like make a practice journal where you record your progress every day on something. But you can only see it upon reflection. I think it's absolutely true. I'm not exactly sure 100% what the question was, but the idea of being able to see your progress, that's why you keep a practice journal, to log everything that you've done. That's why you learn tunes, so you have some check marks. That's why you do deep dives on a solo, or you learn a whole record, to give yourself, because it's so invisible, you got to give yourself some check marks, some things to aspire to, some things to accomplish along the way that are measurable, you know, because that's so invisible, and it's 100% true. You can't see your growth. You can't hear. You can't even know, because even as a musician, like especially as an improvising musician, the things that happen is, and Lucas Pino, tenor player, a really great friend of mine, he talks about this, and I've stolen it and said it many times, is that your development is not linear, and it doesn't all happen on the same. It doesn't even happen on the same plane or the same trajectory. You have your concept or your musicianship or your artistry. You have your technical ability, right? And so you might just separate it to like your horn and your ears or your head, right? So it's like the more you learn, the better you get at your instrument or your voice or piano or whatever. The better you get, the more things you can do, then you can catch up to your concept. So you have a concept of what you want to play, how you want to play, and you catch up to it. And then from there, it advances. While you're catching up, it keeps moving. So you're constantly chasing the concept in your head. And then some people stop thinking about the concept and their artistry, and they maybe stop practicing, and this starts to go down. So their technical ability goes down, and this never changes. So it can go up and down, you know, depending on what you're doing. But the ideal thing, I suppose, is that you're going to increase your artistry over time, especially as a music student. Is this question is about being a music student. So as you get more and more into the music and into learning the music, your concept will keep elevating, and you're going to have to catch up with your technique. And that's what I find is most difficult often, is catching up. You know, you've got to, yes, it's one thing to know something theoretically. It's one thing to be able to tell me the answer to a question, but can you play it? Can you do it? You know this from the class we're doing, an improv class. It's like we play things that are seemingly simple. You put them a little bit into a context, and all of a sudden they become infinitely harder, because you never actually learned the things to a point where you don't have to think about them. So you have to learn these things, these technical things, to a point where they're automatic. And once they're automatic, then you can apply them contextually to various situations. And so your concept evolves, you learn more things, your concept evolves, and you learn more things. So that's invisible. Because all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, I never used to be able to play that. But really it's, I never used to be able to hear that. And now I hear that. And now I can, aspire to hear something else. So that's a long answer to your question, but hopefully that's sort of on the oatmeal cookie, yeah. Favorite neighborhoods in New York? I always liked where we lived, man. We lived on Upper West Side. What's up, Jack? Trevor? Yeah, we always lived on the Upper West Side. Morningside Heights. I always liked it over there. I never lived in Brooklyn, though. I always liked Astoria is cool. But I kind of I always wanted to be in Manhattan, but it's kind of a drag sometimes to get all the way uptown. So I kind of liked being a little bit like half uptown, half far. But I've heard it's changed a lot in the last couple of years, so I don't really know. Oh, wow. There we go. See, Taylor told me he was going to write a lot of questions. He certainly did. Mark, hello. Trevor, Jack, thanks for being here. Whoops. All right. Let's go and dive into these questions here. Let's see if there's anything from YouTube. No, if you have questions on YouTube, Facebook, feel free to drop them in, but I can't put them on the screen. Okay. Assuming you're an introvert, how important is awareness of your surroundings when you must rely on your musical thoughts with no judgment? That is an interesting question. Assuming you're an introvert, how important is awareness of your surroundings when you must rely on your musical thoughts with no judgment? Well, if you aren't aware of your surroundings as a musician, it's really hard to play with the other musicians. So I think that listening and being present in the moment with the other musicians is the most important question. How do you engage and be in the moment with those musicians? And that doesn't really have anything to do with your personality of being introverted or extroverted. That is knowing the context of what needs to happen in the music to make it exciting and interesting and pull the music along, So that's what I think there. But, okay, Eric has a question. Eric Kosberg. What jazz standard do you hate the most? What standard do I hate the most? Anything in the key of B-flat. No, I mean, that's only half serious. What standards do I not like to play? Maybe is another question. I don't know that it's because they're bad tunes or anything like that. Like, I don't like There Is No Greater Love. I don't like that song. And it's not because it's a bad song, it's just like I think there are other more interesting songs. And it's kind of plotting. I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. I like other songs. I don't know. But there's one. I don't know if I hate any of them, really. I just maybe don't enjoy them very much. A song for my father, people get lost on a lot. I don't really like that, but it has nothing to do with the song. It has to do with people getting lost. Or Doxy. That can be kind of a little bit of a grind after a while. But I would say if I had to pick one thing that irritates me the most is a B-flat blues. Mostly because you hear it so often, and you hear it played poorly so often. So there you go. B-flat blues, I guess. Okay, Brian has a question. What are the most underground deep cut records / players? Sometimes it's really hard for me to even know who's that deep underground or not anymore, especially in the trombone world, which is an interesting thing. That, when's your next fly date? That's funny. Alton's trying to get, yeah, I see your questions, Taylor. The fly date in the Sky Club. When am I going somewhere? I don't know what I'm doing. When am I? What's up, Matt Garcia? You don't like blue trombone? Blue trombone is good. Deep cut. Okay, so I don't know like what is considered deep cut anymore. Sometimes, that's what I was saying. Because sometimes they'll say something about Marshall Gilks, and people say that they don't know about him, like that don't play trombone, and that's like interesting to me. Or sometimes like students don't know about Maria Schneider, and then so that all of a sudden that's like something that I thought was totally mainstream, but then they don't know, people don't know about them, and then I'm like, okay, am I just like just assuming that people will know about people that I think people should know about? But it's kind of confusing. So sometimes I just mean to say that sometimes I don't know who is underground anymore, and it seems like some the people should be obvious. Like we were working on today, like Julian Priester. Like Julian Priester is killing, but people don't necessarily know his music, and it kind of went from super straight ahead. Uh, oh, I see. Blue trombone is in B flat. I see. I see. I hear you. I hear you. There's always an exception to the rule. Um, what am I saying? Talking about deep cut players. What are some people? There's a group called the Westerlies. I don't know how much people know about them. Andy Clausen is a great trombone player in that group. Riley Mulherker, a great trombone player in that group. Willem, what is his last name? Willem de Kock. He's a great trombonist. And escaping me. Anyway, Westerlies is great group, and they play interesting music. That maybe is a little underground. I don't know. For some people, like Lucas Pino is underground. He's a great tenor player in New York. Or his wife, Roxy Koss. People don't know about her. Some people do. Some people don't. It's really hard for me to say anymore. But if we're talking about like older stuff, I think Julian Priester is one. Lawrence Brown is underappreciated. Vic Dickinson, Dickie Wells. You know, these guys, these older guys. You know, Gratian Moncourt, Melba Liston. You know, these type of cats, like people don't know about necessarily. You know, you get into like the big, you know, J.J. Curtis slide, or like you get into, you know, Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, and like there's so many other people, you know, that were out there doing things. It's hard to say. It's like it's hard when it gets distilled down, you know. Or like even right behind me, there's like Donald Harrison and Terrence Blanchard. Like those people everybody should know, but I don't know. Some people don't know who Terrence Blanchard is. I don't know how they don't know, but it's true. But yeah, blue trombone in B flat is well played B flat blues. So when a B flat blues is played well, I'm totally fine with the B flat blues. I just mean like when you're adjudicating a festival and you hear a bunch of middle school bands playing B flat blues, sometimes that starts to grind on you. That's what I was meaning. Oh, you're gonna get to gold? You got to get up on my level, man. Platinum, baby. Okay, when you improvise, how do you choose thinking the concepts you know what will work versus relying on your ideas, knowing they will work if you trust in your own abilities? Okay. How do you choose thinking the concepts you know will work? I mean, for me, it's all about improvising. Is all about being prepared, man. Oh, Mysterioso. See, there's great. There's so many exceptions to my rule. So don't, you know. Now I forgot the question. Concepts you know will work versus relying and trusting your abilities. Well, you have to know what's going to work, but you also have to be okay with sounding bad. You have to do both, I think, is the answer. You have to explore, you know. You have to be okay with sounding bad. And sometimes that means, like in school, that's a great place to sound bad because you got people around you that are going to support you and they want you to sound good. On the bandstand, not a great place to sound bad, you know. In your practice sessions, you should do that. You should record yourself and find out what you sound like. This relates here. Like Josh just asked us the related question: do you record yourself when you practice? And if you do, when do you listen back to it? It's like, okay, do I record myself when I practice? Yes. Do I do all the time? No. Do I record? I know a lot of people that record all their gigs and listen to it right afterwards, so they can get in and listen to it. I need some space. It's not helpful to me because I'm always self-effacing. Like, oh, it wasn't very good. Oh, it wasn't very good. Need a little space. So like a couple days later, listen back and be like, all right, did it sound like what I felt it sounded like? How close was I? Was my perception anywhere near reality in that situation? You know. Because sometimes it is. And it's like, actually, that was a good gig. Or sometimes like, wow, I didn't sound as good as I thought I sounded. It happens both ways, you know. You think your things are not going well when they do. So, what's up, Tay? What's up, Alan? Julie, thanks for joining, dropping by. From Richard, here's a question. So the answer is like, yeah, I do listen back to my practice less now than I used to, but I do record myself, especially when I'm getting ready to make a record, because I want to hear what I sound like, so I can actually self-assess, you know. But I also like I make a lot of content and concerts and live stream and blah 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 blah. Do a lot of things, so I'm hearing myself just kind of constantly through making stuff, you know. So like, even if I'm not recording my practice session, I'm kind of saying like, oh, like you're slipping, man. Like, what's going on? You know, you need to get your chops together. From Richard, I've been working on Roche or Etudes recently. Do you recommend going through the book in order or skip around? Yeah, skip around. I never play number one. I hate number one. Don't play Roche number one. It doesn't sound like the rest of the book. I mean, it's fine to work on. It's a fine etude. I don't mean to like be so polarizing today, but just like, yeah, I don't do it in order. They weren't meant to be in order. They're just numbers. Roche, man, that was on J.J. Johnson's music stand. That's what I've always heard. Roche, and I'm starting to dig deeper into Arbans. So Roche and Arbans. I love Biche. I love, I love Bach. Anything Bach. Practice that stuff, and you're gonna be good to go, man. Good to go. All right, let's see here. How many Seth Godin books in your office right now? How many? I don't know. What's behind me? 1, 2, 2. Nice try, Alan. Yeah, 2. Only 2. I have more. There might be some under here, to be fair. I like his books. Don't hate. Okay, from Chuck. Just curious, I've been talking to a violin player recently about the idea of mental practice, which neither of us know much about. Any thoughts on that, or how useful it might be even when it might look at it? Just curious about this. Yeah, definitely. Mental practice. Yes. Mental practice is super important. It's super important in the context of learning a lot of different things, but in particular, the idea of mental practice in like things that are repetitive is important. Things when I'm trying to learn changes or trying to memorize something that I need to run through again and again and again and again. Like your ability to execute something on the horn is totally separate from your ability to remember something or your ability to process information, right? Like the technical part of the horn playing is not the same part as it's not the same things that you're thinking about when you're thinking about, okay, 2-5 to 1, 2-5 to 4, go to the bridge, blah, 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 what are the changes? Like those are different things. So when I can walk down the street and I can think through the changes. I can walk down the street and sing through a solo. I can walk down the street and think about how to resolve different types of dominant chords to other places. So whatever I'm working on is in my mind constantly. And so I'm not just practicing when I'm practicing. I'm practicing anything that can be done mentally. A lot of the stuff, I know there's some students watching I see that are in my improv class. So much of the stuff that we do in the improv class is only mental practice. The physical part of doing it is a very small part. It's actually knowing what to play. That's the hard part, you know. So yes, I am 100% on board with the mental practice question and the mental practicing game. And I've done it for a long time, and I will continue to do so, because especially you're sitting on an airplane, you can think through the changes. You sit here and think through whatever tune I'm working on, remembering, okay. And it's just like the cycle of going through the changes over and over, hearing the changes, hearing the harmony, hearing the melody, you know, singing the melody, all of those different things, man. You just keep going and going and going. Around and around in a circle. Yeah, Taylor, there's no way I'm getting to all your questions today. I'm sorry, man. Save them if you can. Did making your first record teach you about why the industry is looked at differently when it comes to how to get a product recognized? Yeah, absolutely. Making my first record taught me a lot of things, man. It taught me a lot of things about the industry, about what people care about, what people don't care about, taught me a lot about the fact that it's like a lot of. It took me a long time, even till now, to process a lot of that, and the ideas of like what we think something should be versus what reality looks like versus what, where you should draw the line is a constant conversation. It's like, it's just super, so yeah, I know I'm being very vague and I'm not being specific, but you learn, what does the radio people care about, or like what makes something interesting? Why should Downbeat write about you? Why don't the New York Times put anything in about jazz except for very rarely? How do I reach that person? How do I make them care? Like the idea of like, I actually you have to make someone care about what you're doing. What you're doing has no intrinsic value to somebody else if they don't have a reason to care, even if you're an amazing artist. You dig what I'm saying? Like that's what I learned. There's like a million people that can put 10 tunes together and put out a record, but to find a way to do it over and over again, and then to also be able to actually like break through the noise, like make somebody care. Why should they care? And answering that question in an interesting way, that's hard. It's ongoing. I don't have an answer. I'm just saying like, but you learn a lot of things about who to hire, who to trust, all those kind of things, Are you tired of playing trombone? Am I tired of playing trombone? I don't think so. I still find joy in playing the trombone. Some days less so. There's a lot of questions here. I got like 5 more minutes, so I'll try to rapid fire through these. Last page of the practice journal. Congrats, that's awesome. Did you develop a shorthand in your practice journal? Yes. If you go back to old journals, can you understand what you wrote? Yes, for sure. I think as long as you understand what it is, I think it's fine. Shorthand is perfect. As long as you don't forget what you meant by the shorthand. If you get to the end of the journal, maybe you want to, on the back cover or something, write in the code, to figure out what you said. So if you go back, you can look. But like I said, when I've been into the practice journal vibe, like it's been for short, intense periods of time, and then I go away from it, and then back, and go away from it, and come back. To track specific progress on specific items. Like I need to develop my practice routine, or I need to develop this or that, different things. Competitions for high school students, college or high school students. Yeah, I mean, the International Trombone Association has great ones, jazz ones. The Army Blues has a ATW competition. There's of course, the Jazz Trombone Day here at UNT. We have a competition for 30 and under. Those are great for high school students. All state, that's the thing, man. It used to be Grammy Band. They don't really do that anymore. There's New York Youth Orchestra, New York Youth Jazz Orchestra. There's on the West Coast they have Monterey Next Gen, I think it's called. There's Yamaha sponsors a thing. What do they call it? Art Week, Artist Week, Young Arts is what it's called. Sorry, yeah, Young Arts. There's many great things like that. Do you think one's musical education affects their enjoyment of jazz music or any style? Yeah, of course. The more you learn about something, the less mysterious it is, which can be good or bad. 100%. Who you're with, who you talk to, who your teachers are, they affect how you perceive music, what you think is important, even if it's, changes over time, but 100% your community affects how you hear things and how you appreciate things. For good and for bad, positive and negative. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be whatever I tell you about. As if you're in my studio and I'm telling you about different records, you might check them out. But if you go study with somebody else, they might tell you about other records and it might lead you down different paths. And I try to just, when there's a record that I think might be interesting, I try to like listen to, find it and pull it up so that the student can hear it for at least a couple of seconds, And be like, oh, sure, we were talking about today, Curtis Fuller, Cabin in the Sky. Last night at UNT, there's a couple of recitals, people giving composition recitals and doing like large orchestra plus horns and, so strings, horns, big band, so a lot of large pieces and talking about that and different records that have that instrumentation. Most interesting conversations talking to non-musicians about music. I don't know if I have anything to say about that. Most interesting conversations talking to non-musicians about music. That's not something I enjoy that much. Talking about music to non-musicians. Well, that's not fair. That's not a fair thing to say. I guess I don't know. I guess I can't answer your question. It's not that I don't like having those surface level conversations, because it comes down to the same thing. Oh, you play trombone? Who do you play with? Are you in a band? You know, that's the common conversation. That's not one that I want to have. Having a conversation about music with someone that appreciates music, that's not a musician, is different. You know, that's interesting. You know, the intersection between business and music is somewhere that I kind of enjoy talking about, so maybe it's somewhere in there. Could be. But I don't know. This has been very productive Q&A. Thank you for all the great questions. Taylor, I know I didn't get out to all your questions. I apologize. Maybe you want to save some of them for next time. But yeah, so we'll be back every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We're doing these right now. And we'll be moving towards that book release of Create, Connect, Repeat, and kind of moving towards some of those music business topics. But I appreciate everyone being here and hanging out. It's always a pleasure. And I'll catch you all very, very soon.